Newark's water crisis is boiling over as residents demand Mayor Ross Baraka step down. All of this while Governor Murphy asked the federal government to step in and help.
Yeah, so the lead levels continue to be dangerously high. The situation in Newark is being compared to what happened, of course, in Flint, Michigan. Virginia Tech professor Marc Edwards is an environmental engineer who helped uncover the Flint water crisis, and he joins us this morning on the phone. So good morning to you, Marc. Thanks for joining us this morning. So let's talk first about how this crisis in Newark actually compares to the situation in Flint.
Well, it's early, but actually the lead levels I've seen look as bad or even worse in terms of the sustained high lead levels over a period of years.
So what needs to happen now in Newark in order to clean all of this up?
First, you have to get improved corrosion control to reduce the acidity of the water because it's leaching lead into the water. That fix typically takes 18 months before it's fully realized. So in the meantime, we got to get people to use bottled water or filters.
Yeah, help us understand really quickly. So this 18 months, because we know that lead can be a big danger to children. So help us understand the dangers and what's at stake here over these past or the next 18 months as we try to get this cleaned up, if it even starts as of today.
Well, lead's the best known neurotoxin. It adversely affects every system in the human body, and we have to avoid unnecessary exposure whenever possible. So it's very important that people listen to the health authorities and do not use the water for cooking or drinking. They only use bottled water or water filtered.
So how can somebody at home who's listening to this, how can they actually help themselves here? Is there a way to test the water? Because there's a lot of distrust right now. They don't feel like they can trust what the government and the city is telling them. So is there a way they can take ownership themselves?
Well, I think until you've proven to your satisfaction that your water's safe, you have to assume it's dangerous.
Right.
And that means you have to, again, get the bottled water or filters. This is just too important to guess wrong.
Could this have been avoided? You know, you look at all of this right now, people are saying, oh, the pipes are so old, there's an infrastructure problem within the city. Could this have been avoided?
Oh, yes. No, I mean, this was definitely avoidable. There was a problem with the corrosion control, very similar to what happened in Washington, D.C. Back more than a decade ago.
Well, but there's a lot of finger pointing here, right? Because, and we've seen this in other places as well, the government or the city will say, oh, well, it's your pipes, that's your responsibility, it's in your house. Whereas residents are saying, wait a second, this water is coming from your pipes into our house. So how do they fix that when there's a lot of finger pointing?
Well, it's very unfortunate. This is a government responsibility to have effective corrosion control. They failed in that, but they are succeeding now, at least, in terms of warning people and getting them bottled water and filters. So while all this is sorted out, take advantage of that and protect yourself and your family.
You know, this is leaking out now slowly into other cities and towns surrounding Newark. We're getting, you know, trickles of information about lead testing in other places like Patterson. For cities who are listening, how do they get ahead of the problem before we have a situation like we're in now?
It all starts with testing and making sure that you're following the law and promptly notifying people if there's a problem. That's what did not happen in Flint. That's what did not happen in Washington, D.C., and apparently it didn't happen in the early phases here in Newark either.
All right, bottom line, though, how dangerous is this for children?
You don't want to ask. You want to follow the advice and make sure you use bottled water and filters until at least your water is tested safe or the government tells you otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And school's about to start very shortly. And, you know, they were told not to drink from the water fountains in schools last year.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they've been drinking for all this time up until now. So therein lies the issue as well.
Marc Edwards, thanks for joining us this morning with your perspective. We appreciate it.